Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Friday Live. Thank you so much for joining me. You know, over the last several days, I've been noticing an increase in the number of questions in our community about the differences between FBM and FBA. So I thought I'd spend a few minutes here just going through some of the pros and the cons of each of them. I know we have a lot of really new members. Welcome, everybody. A lot of new members to our Internet Mastery community. And this is a process and a concept that takes a long time to learn. I'll give you a little bit of background. For me, when I first started selling online, it was in 2001-ish, 2001. And we were selling pool tables on eBay. And of course, back then, the world was a very different place, if you remember. There was no PayPal credit. There were no digital cameras. There were no high-speed internet. I mean, it was just a totally different world. And my entry into selling online was with these 1,000-pound pool tables. And if you ever wondered how complex shipping is, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking with you about that, but just understand that I do have a pretty long history in shipping heavy items. I sold about $20 million worth of pool tables on eBay. We were selling about 600 units a month. And it's a big process. We had a 100,000 square foot warehouse. We had a whole team of people. Another story for another day. So when I first started selling on Amazon in 2014, all I knew was this concept of FBM. That's all I knew. I didn't understand FBA. I didn't think FBA was a big deal. And quite frankly, if I was not doing the shipping myself anyway, then what would the difference be? And when I think back all the way to 2014, in essence, what I had was a prep center. Because I wasn't doing any of the work. I wasn't prepping the items, receiving them, taking them to the post office. I wasn't doing any of that. I hired people to do it. In fact, I was living in Marina Del Rey at the time. And to put it in perspective of where my mindset was at, I'm not sure that I'm necessarily proud of this fact, but I was renting an apartment, a condo in Marina Del Rey. It was just under $6,000 a month. And so when I realized that I needed to have this prep center, if you want to call it, instead of opening a warehouse or renting space, I decided to rent the apartment right above my apartment for another $6,000 a month. I'm not really sure, again, what I was thinking, but I knew that my commute to the office would literally be up a flight of stairs. And that was kind of my thought process. I didn't want to go too far. And so I hired 5 people, and they did all of the FBM style work, right? They did all the prep center style work. But rather than send it to Amazon for fulfillment, we were just receiving orders, processing orders, shipping orders, and just doing what we'd always done on the eBay side, not realizing there was a whole lot of difference. So in 2014, my Amazon business sold $1.8 million on Amazon in our first year. Now, it's not a fair comparison. Like I said, I'd sold $20 million on eBay in 3 years, and I'd had 8-9 years of e-commerce and eBay experience when I started on Amazon. And so we did 1.8 million, but in 2015, we made one pivotal switch. In 2015, we switched from FBM to FBA. And our business went from $1.8 million in sales to just over $6 million in sales. And there was no change. There was no product differential. The listings were the same. The only thing we changed was the switch to FBA. And there are some pros and cons of FBA for sure. We're going to talk about those here in just a minute. But that one change convinced me of the power of FBA. Now, let me show you a comparison here, just so you understand what I'm referring to. When we look at, and all I have to do is find my pencil here, when we look at FBM, okay, we know that this is going to be fulfilled by you the merchant, right? You are the merchant. When we look at FBA, we know that you are going to have the items prepped and sent to Amazon. And then Amazon will send the items directly to the customer. So we understand that part of the process. I think everybody watching understands when you're doing FBM, you send the items directly to the customer when they sold. If you're doing FBA, you send the items to Amazon and they're prepped and Amazon sends them to the customer. Now, there are times where there are advantages to being or having your items delivered FBM. There aren't a lot, but there are some. There are far more benefit, and I'm going to go through both, I think, in detail here, of why FBA is better. The first one, and the most important one, I think I want everybody to hear right at the top, why I think our sales did so well when we switched, is because Amazon says that FBA sellers or FBA sales are 6 times higher than FBM sales. FBA sales are 6 times higher than FBA sales. Now, I don't necessarily think that that is correct. In fact, what our experience has been in Internet Mastery is that it's more like 8 or 9 times higher if you are selling via the FBA channel. I should mention that I don't think anybody is an FBM seller or an FBA seller. Fulfillment by merchant is a fulfillment channel. Fulfillment by Amazon is a fulfillment channel. But if you take a quick peek at our leaderboard, let's just take a look at this. What you'll see is that when we look at this chart, and some of you may know this and some of you may not, but wherever the green area is, that is FBA. And if you look closely down towards the bottom, you'll see a blue area. The blue is FBM. So you can do your own math. I'll just pick one of the high points here, and we can see that on December 17th, we had $111,000 sold in our community via FBA, and we had $12,000 sold via FBM. So what does that mean? It means that it's almost 11 times higher for sales that are FBA versus sales that are FBM. I mean, empirically, we're seeing it through this process. And so if we just understand that part, and we don't have to know why. I'm going to try to tell you why, but you don't even have to know why. You just have to see what those numbers are. So let's talk about why. The first why is due to Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime. So again, I'll just take us over here and see if I can share this with you. So when we're talking about Amazon, there are 2 things that are happening simultaneously. One is the buyer activity, and one is the seller activity. So the buyers head to Amazon and they buy things. And there are 2 types of buyers on Amazon. There are prime buyers and non-prime buyers. And a lot of you are prime buyers. Well, your prime buyers are going to see your items come in same day or 1 or 2 days. And what happens is the prime buyers are the people on Amazon that sell or that buy the most. So if they're a prime buyer, they're going to spend the most money on Amazon. Well, you as a seller, when your items are FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, are automatically eligible for a person who's buying on Amazon that is a prime buyer. So by definition, a prime buyer goes to Amazon to buy something, and the orders that the prime buyers buy are fulfilled by Amazon. So if we know that prime buyers spend 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times more money, we want our inventory to be in front of all of the prime buyers. So there's a lot of benefit to the FBA process, more than you just not having to hold the inventory or individually ship items to customers. It's about the audience and about who's buying those items. There's a lot of people that are prime buyers that if that order is not fulfilled by Amazon for whatever the reason, maybe it's speed of delivery or maybe it's confidence, they simply won't buy that item. So in your mindset, you have to say, okay, why would I ever want to do a fulfillment by merchant order? And I think the answer is, it depends. So let me give you an example. I sell supplements. I sell a whole line of supplements, and we're continuing to add. In fact, we're adding a new product in right now. So we've got this supplement that we're going to be sending to Amazon for FBA. Or maybe we have a supplement that we have run out of in Amazon for FBA, and the inventory hasn't replenished itself yet. So while an item is en route to Amazon, I might want to also make that item eligible to be sold via FBM. Now, a lot of people don't realize, but when you're creating your listing on Amazon, so let's say you have a listing here, and this listing is an FBA listing for whatever your product is, it's FBA. Well, you can actually have a second listing on Amazon for an FBM of the same item. It's two different listings. In the FBA, the only inventory that will sell will be the inventory that is at Amazon. However, in the meantime, with FBM, this would be whatever number of units you have in your house and that you're ready to ship. Now, you want to be very careful here. I just want to remind you so you don't make this mistake. If you list an item to make sure that you are ungated and able to sell that item, it should always be FBA. If you're listing an item and you put any inventory number in the FBA option, and by the way, within Spy Rivals, you can list an item FBA or FBM. You just select the one you want to utilize. But when you put in your inventory numbers, if it's FBM, whatever number you put in, that's the number that will start selling immediately. So let's just say, for an example, I've got a new supplement and I'm going to send 100 units into Amazon. Well, if I sticker those, prep those, and send those off today, they might not be available for sale for 10 to 14 days. Well, what do I want to do in that 10 to 14 days? I want to do some FBA orders, keep 20 bottles behind, and I can start making sales while the items are getting to Amazon. So there are some times where there is a value there. I'll give you one more example. So we have, in fact, I think I can show you this example here. So let me take you here and show you. So we have a product that we sell called potassium, magnesium, zinc. Okay, so here it is. Let's take a look here and take a look at this. Okay, so we can see here that this item is sold $44.95 if you buy one. You can subscribe and save and get 10%, and you can do it monthly. That'll be a different topic for a different day. And then you can buy a 2-pack. So you could buy a 1-pack for $44.95 or a 2-pack for $82.99. Well, when I'm testing out 2-packs, maybe I'm testing out 3-packs, maybe I'm testing out different variations of bundles, I might not want to send all of those units bundled into Amazon. So for example, let's say I'm testing out a 2-pack of potassium, magnesium, zinc, or any other product that I sell. I'll sell all the 1-pack units into Amazon, and then I'll list the 2-pack. And if those sell, I will fulfill those here. At my house, if I sell enough of them, well, now I know I need to convert that listing to an FBA listing, and I can have that velocity of the sell-through of those items on my FBA process. You have to recognize that one of the downsides to FBA is if you have slow-moving inventory. Of course, if you have the repricer, you can blow all that stuff out. But if you have slow-moving inventory, you are going to pay Amazon storage fees for that item that sits at Amazon for an extended period of time. So if you have a lot of inventory, obviously you could send some of it in at a time. But if you want to send a bunch of it in at a time and it doesn't sell as fast as you think it will, then that might be an option to have some FBM inventory in your house, just so you don't have to pay those relevant fees. I think that the other thing to keep in mind is that there are so many holidays now where people want stuff right away. I needed something today, so I had a choice. I could have gone over to Whole Foods and pick it up, or I could order it on Amazon and pay $1.50 extra to have it delivered the same day from Whole Foods. I mean, why would I want to get in my car, drive in 20 minutes, park the car, get in line, come back to save $1.50? I mean, these are the things that buyers are thinking about as they go through this particular process. One of the other things that I want to mention to you is that when you take a look at an Amazon detail page, right? So if we come back and say, when we are looking at an Amazon page, we know that at the very top of the page, on this right-hand side, is going to be the buy box or the featured offer. We also know that down at the bottom here, there could be some other featured offers up to 3 spots. And then if you click this area here, you get all the offers, right? All the others. Well, here's the thing. If you want this buy box and there are other sellers that are selling it that are FBA, let's say that there are FBA sellers on here. If you're FBM, you will never be in the buy box. It is very, very hard for an FBM listing to compete with an FBA listing. Amazon will always, even if the price is higher, Amazon will always feature where they do the fulfillment. So if Amazon's going to fulfill it and Amazon's going to send it to the customer, they have more faith in themselves, so they're going to feature it higher. Also, they know that the Amazon Prime buyers are willing to pay more. So if your item is, let's say, $20 and it's FBM, and I'm a Prime buyer and I can have it later today or tomorrow for $22.50, I'm going to pay $2.50 more than wait for 10 days for that item to arrive FBM. So understanding the buy box, knowing that FBA will get you more sales because you're in the buy box, gives you another benefit and reason to be in the to have FBA. One other thing that I really like personally about FBA that I find very frustrating about FBM is that when you ship an item to a customer, FBM, let me just turn this off. When you ship an item to a customer FBM and the customer says they didn't get it or there's an issue with the item, you're responsible to handle it. So if the item arrives and the tracking number says it was delivered and the customer says they didn't get it, which by the way does happen with FBM orders, then you as the seller are responsible for that because you chose the shipping company. When Amazon ships it, Amazon is responsible for the shipping. Amazon's responsible for the customer service. And one of the things that it does that a lot of new sellers don't understand is that you want to keep the metrics and the performance in your Amazon account as high as possible. If customers complain about a shipping issue that is not your fault because you sent it via the post office and the customer says they didn't get it, and now the customer is upset, that is, according to Amazon, your responsibility. And that will hurt and negatively affect your performance. So many of the processes of FBA far outweigh, in my opinion, FBM. Again, I do think there are some circumstances where FBM is a good thing to have, but as the most of the time, you want to be focused on FBA. Now, when you're doing FBA, you've got only two options. I guess maybe you have more than two options, but I think there's really only two options. The first option is do it yourself, and the second option is use the prep center. And I was looking at this earlier today. You know, we have students. It's very interesting to me. We have students that in their first 4 months will sell $20,000 or $25,000 on Amazon. And in their second 4 months, they'll sell $3,000 on Amazon. And I've spoken to some of them. And the reason that I've started reaching out is because what I notice is that during the first 4 months of being an elite member, they get the prep services included. So they don't even think about it. They just send everything in, and shockingly, it all sells. And then after the prep center services are over, instead of upgrading the pro, they just don't want to pay $2 for every item that they send in. So what happens? They have to do it all themselves. They end up sending in way less inventory, and their sales plummet, and they don't understand why. This is a very simple business. The more inventory you send in, the more you will sell. And the less you have to do it, none of this is hard. If you've packaged one item, you know it's not hard. It's just time consuming, and everyone is busy. In fact, we're all busier today than we ever were. And so if you just understand what you shouldn't be doing, which is receiving, boxing, and prepping your items to send them to Amazon, the only way it makes sense for you to do it yourself is if you're sending in 5 or 6 items, 10 items a week. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. And if you really want to grow your business, our theme for this year, 2024, is to double up. If that's going to happen to you, then you've got to send in twice as much as you sent in last year. You've got to send in twice as much as you sent in last month. And the only way to expand is to outsource it to someone else. So I encourage you as often as possible. You know, sometimes people will go, well, it's $2 for this and $2 for that, $2 a credit, $2 a credit. It adds up. You're right, it does add up. All you do is you add the $2 into your total cost of the purchase, and then you calculate your profit. And if you're profitable, then you're profitable and you should do it. And by the way, if you did it on your own, it's not free. That's one of the really big myths that people will share with me as to why they don't, they've run out of free prep credits, and they're like, ooh, I don't know, that's $2 a prep credit. Like, okay, and? Well, if I did it myself, it would be free. Really? How do you do that? I'm curious. How can you do that for free? You have a label that has to be printed. You have FNSKU stickers that have to be printed. You have a box that has to go in. You have tape. You have bubble wrap. You have poly bags. All of those things cost money. And if you're saying that it doesn't cost you anything because you're doing it yourself, that means you're working for free and you don't have any value that you put on your time. Why would you ever work for free? I get a lot of opportunities of people who want to work with us, and no one seems to want to work for free. I've been trying to get our coaches to work for free for years. That I can't get any volunteers. I can't get staff at the prep center who want to work for free. I would imagine if you worked at your job, you'd want to get paid. So if you treat this like a real business and you understand your worth, because you're valuable, your time is so important. So anyway, I'm just letting you understand. So whether you use the prep center or you do it yourself, that's your business. You got to make that choice. But you'll always be better off using FBA versus FBM. You will always make more money. And by the way, one last point on this. One of the reasons we do not talk about sourcing in the stores, and there's nothing wrong with it, by the way. If that's how you want to do your business, we love and support you in any way you want. But that's really old school and more like circa 2016, 2017. The reason that we don't source in the stores is because you have to bring it home and then you have to prep it all yourself. And if you just took a moment, a real moment, and calculated how much time it takes to go to the store, how much time you spend in the store, how much time you spend to come home from the store, forget your wear and tear on your car and your gas, put all that aside, how much of that raw time, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, and then you've got to prep everything yourself because you're not going to pay to send it to the prep center if it's in your house. Now, all of a sudden, if you add in how much you're actually paying yourself per hour based on the profitability of those items, you'll understand that the people that sit at their laptop or desktop or on their tablet or phone, they look at their Bolo deals, they reverse engineer, they send it to the prep center, their pay per minute is far greater than anyone who does it in that first example that I gave you. You'll understand this over time. The single most important thing for you is your time, and you want to make as much money during that time as possible. Don't pretend that you're being busy because you're doing all of these things when you could be better utilizing your time. All right, that's what I want to tell you about here today. I have a few announcements, and then we're going to jump into some Q&A, okay? A couple of announcements. Number one, we are officially full and closed. Registration is closed for InternetMastery.live in Miami next week. I cannot wait to see everyone live and in person. The event is going to be special. It's going to change a lot of people's lives that are there with us in Miami. And we've got some really cool things planned. Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk, who's a dear friend of mine, will be there. And he'll be speaking, and we'll also be doing an interview with him. I should mention, Lou is the Incredible Hulk, right? From back in the day, the original Hulk. So one of the things that he does, because he uses the name the Hulk and works with Marvel, is he does Comic-Cons and trade shows all around the world, is that for somebody who wants a selfie with him, he does charge. He has to charge because he's got to pay royalties to Marvel. I think it's $40. You pay him. I'm not involved in the process. If you're going to be in person with us in Miami and you want to get a picture with the Hulk on your phone, it's certainly worth $40 in my opinion, but it's your $40 and you got to figure all of that out. But he and I just talked about that yesterday. He asked me if I thought that that would be okay, and I told him I'd let you all know for those of you coming to Miami. That's the first thing. The second thing is that registration for the virtual tickets will close on Sunday at midnight. So here we are on Friday. We're going to give you 2 more days, then it's going to close. The reason it's closing is we need to be prepared for the event itself to make sure everybody's got the link, everybody's got the reminders. You will get the final link for the weekend on Friday the 2nd. Another thing that I want to mention is for those of you, and I talked about this last week, but for those of you that have a ticket to Miami and can't make it and would like a virtual ticket instead, as I mentioned last week, it is like for like. So if you can't make it to Miami, we're more than happy to move your ticket to Las Vegas in August. That'll be our next full 3-day event. And if that's the case, and some of you did that, but yet still have not purchased the virtual event for this event, I just want to make you conscious of something, even though I'm sure you've already thought about this. I'm just trying to give you a helping hand. If you were planning on being in Miami, you understand the value of what's going to be covered in the content, the information, the new releases, all of that. If we move your ticket to Las Vegas, that's fine, but you still need a ticket for the virtual side of the event. And if you can't make the virtual side live, that's okay, because the virtual side will be available on demand after the event is over for you to watch at your convenience. So if you're moving your ticket, make sure you purchase a ticket for this virtual event. And we've got new releases coming out, new updates coming out. We're still working on things that I'm trying to get all dialed in and in place. I'm beta testing right now. So I'm really, really excited about that specific weekend. This next weekend, we've been waiting for 5 months for this event. So I'm looking forward to it. If you're going to be joining us virtually, get a virtual ticket. You already have, you know where to go, right? InternetMastery.live. Go there, get your virtual ticket if you don't have one, and we'll see you next week. It's going to be, folks, it's going to be off the chart. I'm telling you, when I look at what happened last January, I'm just going to give you an example. You know, last January we launched the Repricer and Bolo Search. Also, I'm just going to pick on one person who I'm very, very excited to meet in person. That's Marlene Nabong. And just so you know, if you don't know Marlene's story, Marlene came to, or started in September-ish of 2022. She came to the virtual event in January of 2023 and sold more than $100,000 on Amazon, and is now going to be coming in person here in Miami. She was supposed to come in August in Las Vegas and had a personal experience, a personal situation that had to be rescheduled for her to watch it virtually. So she watched the first one and the second one virtually, and now she's coming in person. As I said in the prep video, these live events are the glue that stick everything together. So if you're watching me here and you do not have either an in-person or a virtual ticket, I don't know what to tell you. I've been telling you to get one for a while. Everyone likes to wait until the last minute. The last minute ends in 48 hours, and then there's no more minutes left. The registration will be closed. Okay? So that's what I wanted to share with you. I'm excited to take some questions. I'm super fired up. Let's see what we've got going on here. Let me pull up my list and see what we've got. Lots of good afternoons, and thank you for everybody who's saying good afternoon. Oh, if you're joining us for the first time, at the very top of this video, somewhere in the post, it says grant access to eCam Live. Do that so I know who you are when you are posting your question. Although for some reason today, all the names have vanished. So I might need to re-log in and see if I can fix that out. So let's see. So what I want you to do for everyone who is going to be attending the Internet Mastery Live in Miami, whether you're attending in person or you're attending virtually, at the very top of our Facebook group, the very first post I will show you so that you can all see it, and we can use this as an educational time here, okay? At the very top of our Facebook group, let's go there together, where you're watching this, right here, there's a video that says internetmastery.live in Miami. You need to watch it, because that video gives you a recap on when everything is going to be delivered. Even though 5 minutes ago I said everyone gets their welcome link for the event this Friday, coming up, not today, but next Friday before the event. There's no physical tickets. I want you to go watch that video in full at some point between now and next week. Okay? So excellent, fantastic. Tickets are not on sale yet for Las Vegas in August. So when we have our Internet Mastery.live event next week, just FYI, so I had the wrong screen on, but just FYI so that everybody understands, the ticket price right now for Miami in person is $399. Everybody that's ever been to an Internet Mastery.live knows that when you attend the live event, either in person or virtual, we launch the tickets for the following event, always at a reduced early bird, big savings, so that you'll be able to get your tickets at the event itself for the following event and get a much bigger discount than what everyone else pays. So we'll announce that next week. Outstanding. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions for me? Any thoughts, any ideas, any concepts, anything you'd like to know more about? Regardless of the question, I'm here to answer it. So please feel free to post it in the chat box. Oh, by the way, for those of you coming to Las Vegas, there'll be a few things available that you might be interested in. If you're elite members and you wanted to upgrade to pro, we're going to let you do that again. So that opportunity is going to be available. I'm going to be introducing you, of course, Inner Circle members. If you are not Inner Circle and want to blah, 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 blah. If you want to get an Inner Circle NFT or get more of them, that will be available. We will be releasing some AI product that will be available for you. And also we're going to be introducing something called the Internet Mastery Roundtable. And the Internet Mastery Roundtable will be an opportunity for some of our students to work directly with me for 12 months. It'll be a high-ticket item. It'll be a mastermind, if you will, where it'll include a days with me in our office where we spend a day together just going over your business one-on-one, me and you for a day. We do that twice in the year. So I'm going to talk more about that in Miami as well. We're going to invite 10 people to be part of that mastermind. It's called the Round Table, but we'll learn all about that in Miami. Excellent. So question is, has Amazon corrected their issue? I have no idea. I know that Amazon has, we've been able to submit prep forms, and we have been able to process orders at the prep center. So what I would say is not worry so much about the double check marks. If you can list the item and then wait a half hour, an hour, and then you can submit the item to the prep center, then you're fine. So Amazon is still working through what Amazon works through, but that's another solution there for you. All right, let's see. So just FYI, for those of you that are interested in that whole roundtable thing, I want to repeat what I said. It's called a high ticket process. It's not going to be inexpensive. It's going to be high ticket. And just so you know, it's going to include 12 monthly mastermind sessions, a small group with those 10 people. And it's going to be for 1 year. And it's going to include two full one-day visits with me at the office. I can tell you for sure, you get 8 hours with me one-on-one in you and your business sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours. It'll be worth the price of the whole year all at once. But we're only going to have that available for 10 people. It's the first time we're doing it. I'm super excited about it. I think part of it is I'm so excited about our new global headquarters, our new Internet Mastery headquarters, that our Writer AI folks who are going to be meeting there will understand oh my gosh, you have no idea, folks. You have no idea what you're going to be walking into. It's going to be extraordinary. So anyway, we'll see you there. Let's see. When doing FBM, I ship to Amazon. No. When you ship FBM, that's when you ship the items to the customer. When you sell FBA, that's when you send the items. If you're asking this question and you need to be using the prep center. I just leave it at that. Okay. So if you are shipping FBM, you don't ship to Amazon, you ship to the customer. And if you're shipping directly to the customer, I don't know what you mean about a receipt. I'm just not really sure I understand what you're asking. So if you want to ask, I'm happy to answer that for you. What else? Anybody else have anything else they want to ask about, share about, talk about, anything exciting going on? It's an awesome year. 2024 is going to be an absolutely phenomenal year. But we've got to make sure that we're doing things the right way. Everybody's got to be all dialed into following the process. I think one of the biggest challenges that people have in this business, I was talking to somebody about this morning, the biggest challenges that they have is that they literally think way too much and aren't doing the most basic part of the business, which is buying inventory. That's it. You will never make any money if you're just constantly analyzing, looking at charts, SPY rivals numbers here and long graphs there. You'll know you don't need any of that, right? You've got the technology. You look at the items. If you're nervous and SPY rivals says buy 200, buy 6. Don't buy 200. Buy 6. Sell 6. Build your confidence, and then next month buy 8 more. It's okay to buy less than what SPY Rival says, but you have to be every day looking, buying, shipping, looking, buying, shipping. It's really simple. The people who send the most inventory to Amazon sell the most on Amazon. I know we're looking for a magic formula, but I can tell you that if you're really, really hustling and you're doing this the right way, you should be able to get items shipped off to Amazon or to the prep center in your first 10 days, like fast. If you've been doing this 3, 4, 5 weeks and you're still analyzing, you might have analysis paralysis. You just got to get in there and get it done. That's it. All right, let's see. So here's the good news. I tried to send products to Amazon using the Prep Center address. Well, you don't send the products. You just send the products to the Prep Center, right? And then when I gave it to Big Lots, they said it doesn't exist. That's interesting. I was there today, and while I was there today, 75 boxes showed up. So it's real. It's for sure real. So anyway, just like that. Let's see. So whoever just asked me this question about the sourcing in my picture, Kim must be your coach, because she brought this up yesterday in our coaching meeting. She told me she would share it with you. The answer is I have absolutely no idea. I couldn't tell you. I've been working with Amazon for a long time, so I don't know what they do, why they do it, how they do it. I have no idea, but keep up the good work. Because apparently if I'm getting a commission on something you source, I'd love to see that. Come on, source, baby, source. Let's bring it on. Or you could talk to Kim, and Kim can help you with the answer in more detail, because I gave that to her yesterday. All right, good questions. I love it. It's always more fun when there's questions coming in. Anybody else have any other questions, comments, thoughts? For those of you that are watching at home on replay, if you're still made it this far, if you're watching at home on replay, you can always post your questions in this area, in the questions area, and we'll be able to answer them. Questions can always be answered even if the video's live, the feed is live like we are now, or you're watching it on replay. So I appreciate that you spoke with Big Lots, and I appreciate that they couldn't verify the address. I'm not exactly sure what you would like me to say to you. My recommendation for you would be to watch the video in the e-library that talks about what to do when a retailer says that they don't want to ship to the Prep Center. There's a whole video on it. I would suggest watching it. But I can tell you that the address is real. The Prep Center is real. The office is real. We get boxes every day. It's all real. So I can't talk to you about what Big Lots told you on the phone, but whatever information they gave you that they can't verify the address seems to me like an issue with them, and I would either figure it out or move on. I mean, I'm not sure what the question is. I'm not sure what the question is. So the video's in the e-library. You just go to the e-library and you just look through the videos. Somebody asked that question yesterday too in the Facebook group. I was a little confused. They said, "Where do I find a video?" All the videos are in the e-library. So that's where they are. I'm not going to go through the e-library now and try to find your video for you. Don't take that personally. I said that to somebody a few months ago. They got so offended that I wouldn't help them find the video. So now I'm just like a little bit. I don't want to offend anybody. I just go to the e-library, you search, you look around. The video's there. Is a big giant thing that says the retailer canceled my order or having trouble shipping from the retailer, something like that. I'm not sure which video it is, but you could do that. So yeah. I mean, I get it. I mean. So you were on the phone with Big Lots for 30 minutes. Okay, I'm still not sure I understand the point. You were on with Big Lots. Big Lots said they couldn't verify your address. I understand all of that, but at the same time, it's still real, so I don't know what more to go back and forth. So let's see. If all the videos are in the e-library, I was wondering which one. I don't know. There's 75 videos in there. Just search for it. Just look. You'll find it. I promise you, you'll find it. I promise you, you will find it. It is there. Just spend a little bit of time, look it up, and you'll find it. All right, excellent. I don't want to talk about Big Lots anymore. You got to figure it out. I mean, there's only a certain amount of stuff we can do, but we know we get Big Lots boxes come to the Prep Center every week. So every single week, by the way, Big Lots come. And Walmart comes. and Best Buy comes, and Costco and Target, and they all come. Okay, outstanding. All right, everybody, let's see. Get ungated. Let's see. So when you, just one quick thing, by the way, when you post questions, I love your questions. Can you make them complete full sentences for me so I can understand what you're asking? I think that I can translate, but let me see if I can interpret. It says, get ungated only by developing a relationship with wholesalers. By the way, that isn't a question, but if your question is the only way to get ungated by developing a relationship with wholesalers, the answer is yes. And if Amazon asks you for your invoices, you need to move on if you don't have the invoices. The only way to get them is to have wholesale relationships and to buy in large quantities. So that's why we tell you to just move on, and when you're ready to get into wholesale, you can get there. Good question. You guys are absolutely awesome. You know that? We have the best community of people in Internet Mastery all throughout this process, this community, the coaches, the support team, all of you, all of our newest members. You have to understand something. Our community is on its way to $1 billion in sales. Do you know that? $1 billion. We're at 170 million now. So we have 830 million to go. And I need some of you to need to get some of that process into your bank as we go forward. So if you have a ticket for Miami, we'll see you next week in person. If you have a ticket for Miami virtually, we'll see you next weekend virtually. It's a life-changing event. I wish I could tell you more about it, but I just can't. It's just going to be phenomenal. So I will see you all. Next Friday. Have a great weekend. Go buy some products. Send it to the prep center. Make sure you're all set for Miami. I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.